Hello and welcome back to another battle report. This is another one in our Escalation League series. So another small points game, I'm afraid. 750 points. Beasts of Chaos versus... Here is my list. It's the same as in the previous Beasts of Chaos game. I've got my Dragon, Ogre, Shaggoth General with a trait to strike first if he's charging, rerolls to hit, artifact, and a spell. My Great Witch Shaman with a spell to buff the Shaggoth, 3 Dragon Ogres, 10 Ungors, 10 Besticle, 10 Ungor Raiders, and a Toot de Toot Horn of You Can't Hit Me. This is my opponent's Khorne list. I can't remember all the details, I'm afraid. I wasn't able to get a copy of the list, but the general gist of it is here. 2 Sword Priests, a Blood Secretor with a banner that gives +1 attack. I don't know if that's innate to the banner or with items. 2 lots of 5 Blood Warriors, 10 Blood Reavers, 5 Flesh Hounds, and probably something else. Because I don't know where the extra points come from, so there we go. Here's our deployment, same thing, 4x4. We've got one objective in the middle. You get points equal to the turn that you're controlling it. My deployment is I've got my Dragon Ogre contingent over here, my Raiders, Ungor Raiders here, and some Besticle. My opponent takes first turn and moves up, and it makes my life incredibly difficult in terms of how on earth am I going to get to that objective. As you can see here, I've moved my Ungor Raiders up a bit with my start of turn move. So I decide to YOLO it up. I push up my Dragon Ogres over on the right hand side. They are very, very quick with a free run essentially at the start of the turn. Now I denied about sending in the Bestigor as well. I possibly should have done, but my issue is I was fairly sure, the only thing I could have charged here were the Flesh Hounds without engaging anything else, and looking back on this like this now, I probably should have just done it and let these guys do something to the Dragon Ogres, gone with the Shaggoth first, and then these guys might have done some serious damage to the Flesh Hounds, but hey ho, hindsight is wonderful, isn't it? So anyway, I go in with the Dragon Ogres over on the right hand side. These guys have been buffed. I think they've got +1 armor save from one of the prayers, and almost take them all out, which is unfortunate, but these guys do accidentally tag, well not accidentally, I didn't actually mind, because they're not scoring if they're over there, but we do tag the Blood Warriors over here. He's taken a wound, they've taken a couple of wounds, but not too bad, and I flooded enough models down here in the bottom around the objective to actually score. So we go 1-1 at the end of turn 1. My opponent gets initiative going into, or priority rather, going into turn 2. He buffs the shit out of these guys with his prayers, and he blood boils one of these guys away. Just said, bleh, gone, just gone, you're gone. Blood boil, bleh. And he is not as timid as I was, and he just charges his entire army. Look at this, Slaughter Priest there. There's a banner there, and there's just people, and angry people, and blood. He goes up here first, because he wants to get rid of the Dragon Ogres before they do too much damage to him, which lets me counterattack with the Bestigor, who pop one of these guys and a couple of Hounds, so I was fairly happy with that, actually. Unfortunately, when all's said and done, this is what's left of my forces. The Ungor Raiders were never going to get up to much around there. That was just not going to happen. He's seen off his guy, so he's doing his job. Good man. He's stuck up here, and there we go. That's the general gist of it, and my opponent scores 2 points. There we go, going up to 3 points. Into my turn 2, I'm up to 6 summoning points. Isn't that good? I don't have anything to summon, though. I need my own models, because if I'd been able to bring on 10 Bestigors at this point in the battle, that would have been absolutely amazing. Because of the way things were, something's missing here. I'm fairly sure my opponent blood boiled this guy down to not very many wounds, and then they finally popped him last turn. Because of where he was and fights 3-inch Parlins, so this banner bearer is now engaged, and I do know he has a Khorne item that basically lets him ignore rend, can't be modified armor save, whatever that is. I've cast the Horn up here because I figure if any fights are happening, I'm going to need some help. I've backed off with my Bestigor, and with my Ungor Raiders to hopefully get a double turn and get them to charge back in, because on the charge even a few Bestigor can be quite useful. I didn't take a picture, but my opponent gains priority going into turn 4, which means he charges all of this, and at this point it's all over. It's quite late. I didn't take many pictures at the end here, but I haven't been able to score. I'm not going to be able to get round. He's summoned on with Blood Tithe 5 more Flesh Hounds over here, which pump out a hell of a lot of attacks. I mean, they're not brilliant attacks, but my army folds like a wet paper bag if you hit it. So you don't need that many attacks. My big guy here is slowly getting whittled down and dying. And I think he does eventually die to these guys, because he's not making a dent with a 3-up, ignoring Rend. I know this from playing with my Ethereal Achillean King with Deepkin. I'm just not going to get through that. So my opponent's been racking up the victory points. I'm just unable to score any. So we call it there. A big old defeat, and Khorne wins all the skulls, all the blood. But hey ho, that's 1 win, 1 loss with the Beastmen. We're getting there. I need to build up some summoning units so I can bring things on as and when I need it, rather than waiting for my opponent to kill my stuff. Big learning thing, and maybe just be a little bit more aggressive, which is not something I normally have an issue with. But anyway, I hope you enjoy these little mini reports, and tune in soon for some more battles.